guys, you're watching United Rock Nations, and today we're with Aaron, the bassist and lead vocalist from Of Mice and Men.
What's up?
Hi Aaron.
Hey, how are you? I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, I'm fine. Did you get to enjoy the Sunberries today?
Not so much today, but yesterday, yeah. We were at near La Valette and the Conservatory of Music, and there's a beautiful park there. My parents are also in town. They've been in Paris for the last probably 5 or 6 days. So I got to hang out with them for a little bit, which is cool.
Nice. Did you get to taste some great wine or food?
I didn't drink any wine, but I did have some great food.
Excellent. Okay, so let's start this interview. Last year, Austin was forced to quit the band. What were your feelings when he announced his decision?
Man, that was tough. His announcement came at the end of December, but he had told us at the beginning of November when he had been released from the hospital. And yeah, we all just kind of got together at Tino's apartment, and he told us the severity of what the doctors had told him, which was essentially that if he were to perform again, that he would risk tearing his dural sac again, and that it could potentially prove fatal, so that he was going to have to step away from the band, and that he would be going to Costa Rica. And we all just kind of hugged each other and cried, and it was a very heavy moment for sure.
I bet. All right. And back then, what were your thoughts about the future of the band? Would that compromise the band?
I think at the time we weren't even really thinking about the band. He was our brother. We're very much a family unit. We see each other all the time. Even when we're not on tour, we hang out all the time. It was really tough. I think we didn't really start thinking about the future of the band until you know, a few weeks after he'd left, when we decided to get together and just jam. We got together in our rehearsal space and just turned our amps on, plugged in some microphones, and just said, all right, let's just make some, we call it making noise, and that's just where we go in and just jam with each other. Sometimes we don't even play songs, we just try to create stuff and just kind of get together and make noise. When we were making noise, we kind of started playing some of the old songs just to kind of run through them, and we all kind of looked at each other and we were like, you know what, this is important. The songs are so much more important than the band name or than each of us or all of us put together. I think the songs mean so much to so many different people, including, you know, how much they mean to us. And that's when we kind of, you know, decided that we were still going. And, you know, when Austin got us all together in November, when he told us that, one thing that he was very adamant about was he really wanted us to continue on, and he wanted it to not slow down the progress of the band or jeopardize the future. But for us, we weren't even thinking about that at the time.
Alright, so you said you were making some noise and you released 2 new songs. Was that a way to move on then?
I think very much so. It was a way for us to kind of talk and sing about how we were feeling. And I think in a way, we wanted to show our fans that we were still here to stay. And I think that those new songs, in a way, kind of start the next chapter of the band, but at the same time, those songs kind of act as almost as proof that we can still do a lot of the older material, just in the nature of how it sounds and stuff. But those songs were very, very personal to us, and they came about from making noise, you know, which is how we've always written.
All right, and then you've got a new role in the band. What's your feelings on that? Has it changed anything? Not
really, you know, because during the shows I was doing, you know, about half the vocals with the singing stuff, and I was playing bass, and then I was also doing a lot of backup screaming stuff. So for me, it doesn't really feel too different. It just feels like a lot of the places where I wasn't doing vocals, I am now. But it doesn't feel any different, you know. And I've moved from kind of stage right to the center, but that hasn't really changed anything. It hasn't really changed the dynamic. I still consider myself a bass player before a singer.
All right, and are you more involved in the creating process now?
Oh, I mean, no. I mean, well, I'm now kind of just solely involved if it's something that I'm just working on. Before, Austin and I used to always like collaborate on lyrics and writing that aspect of the songwriting together. But now it's, you know, and even then with these songs, like with Back to Me, Unbreakable was something I kind of worked on my own and kind of like showed the guys the lyrics and kind of just the vocal ideas. But when we wrote Back to Me, we were kind of bouncing lines off of each other. So, you know, everybody kind of contributes to everything, if that makes sense. Like the song Pain, for example, Austin wrote those lyrics with Tino, our drummer, and Tino wrote a bunch of those lyrics too. And it's something that we just love collaborating with each other, and nobody has egos about what anybody else does. So there's sometimes where I'll come up with a drum part and Tino will come up with a guitar part and Phil or Alan will come up with bass parts, and we all can kind of create music that way. Even though it's not necessarily what we're playing on stage, we're all able to kind of bring different ideas to the table and meld them together.
All right. And concerning So Back to Me and Unbreakable, the video clips at least, I think to me it has a lot to do with where you are now as a band.
Absolutely.
It's this story of this young woman just facing this life-threatening situation, and then for Back to Me, it's just the pure joy of playing as a famous band. So what do you make of that? Is that has it got to do at a symbolical level with where you're at?
Yeah, I think it's got everything to do with where we're at, and I think that that's probably why our fans have latched onto it the way they have. For us, music is how we try and understand the world, and it's also how we talk to the world. And so for us, the songs come from a very real place about where we're all at. And at the same time, I think the videos kind of showcase, in a way, where we're at.
And there's a new side to these songs. Is it the new way to which you're heading? It's more melodic, I think.
You know, I think it is in a way. I wouldn't say we've been working on a ton of new music, and some of it is really heavy, and some of it is more melodic, and I think we've really just been trying to tap into the elements that have made our music sound like our music, and we're never the band that goes backwards. Like, we're never like, oh, let's make a record like the one we've made before, because we don't really think that way. But for us, you know, honing in on those certain elements, whether it's the way that Tino plays drums, or the way that Phil and Alan play guitars, or the way that the melodies kind of interact with the music, I feel like those songs felt very familiar to us, but still very new. Yeah. It's awesome to hear that the fans have been enjoying it.
Yeah, talking about the reception of your new songs, you're playing at Hellfest this year.
Oh yeah?
And you've already played at Hellfest in 2014. What were your impressions on this festival?
Was one of the best festivals, I think.
Oh really?
It was so much fun. It was so much fun. I was kind of intimidated, because at the time, we'd never played those festivals before. And we just saw in the front row, it's just a ton of big dudes with beards, and they're wearing their Slayer shirts, and I was thinking, ooh, I gotta sing some high notes right now. I hope nobody throws a beer at me. And I just remember we started playing, and I remember the first chorus I started to sing, and I kind of looked out, and I kind of made eye contact with some of those metal dudes, and they kind of just looked at me, and they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, we're good, we're gonna be good. But no, you know, Europe and the United Kingdom, but a lot in Europe, there's such a huge culture of rock and roll and metal music that it's just so awesome to be a part of it.
Great. Talking about festivals, it's a place of musical discovery. What's the latest band that has impressed you?
You know what? We played in Greenfields in Switzerland, in Interlaken, and we played with a band called Lord of the Lost. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're from Germany, and they played right before us on the stage next to us, and they were awesome. They were all dressed up in matching outfits. They all had what almost looked like black metal corpse paint, and they played this music that sounded like a more metal Rammstein, and it was awesome. And it was funny because we got to hang out with them later, and it turned out that they were fans of our band, and it was cool because I don't know that I would have ever necessarily discovered them, but I've been jamming their stuff. It's really cool.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks. Okay, my last question. It's been 9 months since the release of Cold War. Cold World, yes. And have you got any new album in sight, since you've got a lot of
we are always working. I will say that we are working on a new album, but we don't have a release date yet. We're just kind of not taking it slow, but we're taking our time. And we liked kind of releasing songs individually. So we might do that again. We might not though. So I don't know.
Okay.
But we don't really have a release date in mind yet, but we are definitely working on a new album, and we definitely have at least 2 albums worth of material now, and we're still going to be writing, so it'll be exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. Well, thank you very much, Aaron.
Thank you.
Very kind of
and
you.
Thank you guys for watching. What's up? This is Aaron from Mice and Men, and you're watching United Rock Nations.